Hey guys, hello and welcome. I'm Marcel Vollmer and I'm here today to talk about a topic which might concern all of us, cybersecurity. As you can see, I'm not alone here. I have two distinct experts in that field, John George and Arthur Schneider. And probably we start at the beginning with a very brief introduction. John, do you mind to kick it off?
Yeah, my name is John George, working for T Systems Germany and working for the AWS Powerhouse here. And yeah, responsible to lead the security portfolio for our customers on cloud. Maybe Arthur?
Thank you for the invitation, Marcel, and greetings to all viewers. So briefly about me, my name is Arthur Schneider. I work as a senior cloud consultant at the T-Systems in the AWS Powerhouse, and I'm from Ulm, which is in southern Germany, close to the Swabian Alps.
Thanks for the introduction, John and Arthur. And let's really dive into the topic about the number one hyperscaler, AWS, with an immense base of customers, what they have. How are you really helping customers to navigate security in the cloud? The topic which is concerning all of us, at least I'm concerned about the data as well. So, what are you doing? And, John, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Thanks, Marcel. So security is in the heart of what we do. From for everything is job zero for us, and we treat security as very critical for our customers. Right. That starts from the development of the code to pushing the infrastructure, how we deal with the operational practices, etc. So security is like all over the pipeline that we use for our customers. So when it comes to security, we are doing a lot of things for our customers to make sure uh, our customers are secure, our customers are compliant. Because as you know that there is this data privacy and regulations in EU that is a bit more concern for the customers, and to provide guardrails around it, how the customers can make sure they're secured, and also to provide them with the assessments saying, okay, once you're running there, how can we help you in making sure what you have there is kind of, yeah, I mean, up to date or is secured enough, and there is no vulnerabilities in place. So that's what we do on regular basis with the customers, because once the customer is on the cloud, there are a lot of things happening. He's scaling up, scaling down, but we need to make sure the customers are always protected, and the data is protected, and they have full visibility on what they do. So yeah, that's how we help our customers on using multiple offerings that we have from T Systems side of it.
Awesome, John. I think I couldn't agree more, and probably all listening into that are definitely want to ensure that their data are secured because we all know how important data are for us. So, Arthur, for which customers is the security assessment what you do, and can you share a little bit more about what is it really what a customer gets?
Yeah. So maybe quickly on a high level, what is an AWS security assessment? So in order to identify potential security gaps on recommendations for AWS workloads, we offer our customers the so-called AWS security assessment together with the AWS professional service. So the assessment consists of a technical interview with over 140 detailed questions about the AWS infrastructure and a technical tool that helps to identify possible security gaps in the existing AWS environment of our customers. So the session is divided into three phases. At the beginning, we plan the session, collect all the information about the workload, documentation, etc. Start the preparation of the technical tool, so we get the access, the installation, and so on. And then we continue with the execution phase. We conduct the interview in several sessions with different stakeholders on the client side. Usually there are different contacts for the respective topics, and therefore we want to have the input from all of them. The session is maximum 2 hours, spread across several days, and depends on the availability, of course, of the stakeholders. And in parallel, we execute the technical tool, which generates us a detailed report of the found security gaps. And at the end, the customer gets a detailed report with the found security gaps, our recommendations to mitigate them, and a categorization by priority. So this is something that we present the customer in a recap session together, which we're going through. And to your first question, so for which customer is the AWS security assessment suitable? So we get a lot of requests very often from customers, and the reasons are really different. For example, we have customers that have been on AWS for a long time, and they are just not sure if their workload are built according to AWS best practice. Here they want some kind of confirmation that everything is built according to AWS best practice. But there are also customers who have just recently had a breach, security breach, and they want to make sure that they don't have any gaps in services that they did not know about. But some also use the security assessment as a roadmap for improving their own AWS environment. Because with our recommendations, you can usually fill the backlog for the whole year very well. And I also brought an example from the current world, so to say. Current example, how critical a breach can be for a company is the hacker attack on the German car repair chain called ATU. My wife wanted to make an appointment for a tire change, but that was not possible a few weeks ago because ATU was victim of a hacking attack and the internal IT system was not available. So customers who have stored tires had to bring their invoice where the storage number of the tire could be found. And this is just one example of many that shows how important it is to protect ourselves, take preventive measures, for which the AWS security assessment is very well suited.
Awesome, Arthur. I couldn't agree more. And I've even heard about more extreme examples like entire hospitals where patients are impacted. But thanks for sharing the insights. That's really a great example. What is it exactly what you and T-System brings here to the table, why this assessment should be done with you as a company?
Yeah, so our corporate strength is security. We have proven this through security competency on AWS, and also the recognition that we can do AWS security assessments in collaboration with AWS ProServe. That's, of course, the cherry on top. Now, one or the other things, there are other partners with the security competency. Why should I choose you guys? Yeah, that's correct, but does not mean that this partner is also allowed to do the AWS security assessments, because this approval includes a challenging boot camp, which is conducted by the AWS professional service consultants. And only when they say that our people are ready to do these security assessments, we get the access to the tools. And this is also only related to people that pass this exam from our team.
That's insightful, and thanks for that. Allow me one follow-up question, the final one. What is the difference between the AWS security assessment, what you mentioned, and the AWS well-architectured review, what you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the well-architected framework. People that know me, they also know that I'm driving that in our team, in our company. And the great thing about the well-architected framework is that it's available to every AWS customer for free through the AWS well-architected tool. However, the well-architected framework review only scratches the surface compared to the AWS security assessment. In the AWS security assessment, we really go into the technical deepness, and that's why the AWS security assessment is on the one hand more complex, but on the other hand, it brings more value to our customers.
Thanks, Arthur. So, lots of questions. What I got, and that's probably a question for you, John, to ask. Who has really access to the customer data? And I remember very well when cloud came up as a topic. I was on the SAP side. Everyone was wondering about, hey, who has access really to the customer data? So, John, on the AWS side, how would you answer that question? Who can really access data stored in the data center for AWS?
Yeah, so as you started, Marcel, AWS is one of the leading cloud providers in the world. And so the reason for that is they have security built into the baseline or whatever they do, right? So from the infrastructure, from the physical facilities, etc., and those are really certified by third-party auditors. You can it's publicly available. So if you think, okay, yeah, you're not sure if you can process this certain type of data on cloud, you can go to the compliance web page for AWS. You can see, okay, it's certified to PCI or HIPAA or whatever compliance you require, and it's a third-party audit, right? And on top of it, I mean, AWS provides physical security and all these things for data centers, but there are certain responsibilities that the customer, when you put the data on cloud, the customer should fulfill, right? So it's not the responsibility of AWS to protect your data on your part, right? So you have to make sure you have required firewall rules or security groups in place. You should have the proper networking in place. You should not have anything open to the world. People come in. Also, to have a very strict identity and access management, and to make sure everything is encrypted, and data flow that goes in and out should be encrypted, etc. So those are the responsibilities of the customer to do. The architecture that AWS provides is called Nitro. I mean, it's a architecture where AWS cannot have access to the data directly because everything is segmented in a format where the processing and the storage is in a different PCI card. I mean, you can read on the details on the Nitro white paper on the AWS web page. But if you look at the architecture, AWS literally cannot go in and get your data. But on top of what you're doing is like you're protecting the in transit and the data at rest. You're encrypting it using TLS or using keys on AWS or outside AWS. Totally depends on how you want to do it. But it's customer's responsibility of making sure the data is kind of secured. And VST systems are helping the customers in doing that. And we have a framework that we have built for our customers on customer request, basically coming up from a customer requirement where we say, okay, customers say, okay, we need to be compliant to these regulations, or we need to be compliant to our organization. Can you help us doing that? And we have an entire automated suite where the customers can come in. They have a secured landing zone. And on top of it, we are providing encryption keys that the customers can then say that telecom or T-Systems can host the keys in German data centers, and they can use those keys to encrypt the data on the cloud, which is adding to what AWS already provides and adding to more confidence from the customer side that even if the data is somehow breached, nobody can get into the data and misuse it because the keys reside with T-Systems and nobody would have access to it.
That's interesting. Also, that AWS can't access the data. Is there visibility where the data is? So on the physical side, that the customer has a chance to see that?
Yeah. So what we are providing as T-Systems is a visual layer for our customers across the landscape. So we are pushing all the data to a dashboard where the customers can see, okay, where is my data across all the 250 services that AWS has, and who is accessing it from where, and also we can actually kind of do auto remediation on top. If the customer says, yeah, I mean, if I don't want certain resources to be in functioning in a certain way or has to be secured, the auto compliance kicks in to make sure all the time the customers are compliant, even if somebody tries to do something fancy within the environment. So those are the capabilities that we as T-Systems provide to the customers.
That's great to have the compliance topic as well covered by that. Last question, what I would have is about on the support side. It seems from time to time you need support. And is there any support locally also from the EU for AWS when you have an agreement and a contract?
Nice question. I mean, this was one of the biggest requirement that we have for our customers from EU within that has to comply to the regulations, right? They say, okay, yeah, good that you have the data in Frankfurt, good that you are doing everything in EU, but how can we make sure the operations are local as well? So, in order to satisfy customers' requirements, what we did is we have a team based in EU, in Slovakia, that basically are providing 24/7 support, partner-led support to our customers. So that means level 1, level 2 support would be provided by our team in T-Systems. And if they need further support like level 3, that's not that has to be done by AWS. That's provided by AWS, but in a 4 eyes principle where everything is under a restricted environment, and AWS, whatever AWS team does is audited and logged, and customer gets a full visibility of what's happening during that operational things done by AWS. So it's a kind of a it's a leverage to the customers who want to be compliant, as well as have the operations locally in EU.
John Arthur, many thanks. It seems you really do a lot for your customers to drive the cybersecurity, and very insightful sharing about what exactly you do and how you ensure that the data are protected. And hopefully we will not see lots of data breaches in the future. Thanks for having this interview and jumping on a call, on a video here with me. Much appreciated. And I hope also for the audience that this is very insightful about how secure are your data on AWS and what T-Systems can provide as a service. Thank you very much.